Sir, now more than 90 participants are there. And let us start the webinar and other people may join one by one.
Okay.
All right, sir. So ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you and welcome to a very spiritual and a webinar which is blessed by Lord Buddha himself. And right now we have a speaker, Mr. B.M. Khanna. Mr. B.M. Khanna, of course, is known in two words. One is the technical word, a bureaucrat, a ITS officer who has passed out his engineering from Punjab Engineering College in 1956. And after 4 years, before joining government department as ITS officer, he was working with Bhakra Dam at Punjab. And then he occupied various important positions in telecom industry. And lastly, he retired as chairman and managing director of MTNL in 1986. There he remained at the helm of the affair till 1993 before he put up his paper and retired from government service. Whatever the situation of MTNL today, but at that particular time, MTNL was among the best 5 performing PSU in the country. And it was the first telecom PSU in the country. During his tenure, Mr. Khanna has also was chairman of ITI. At that time, ITI was at the best PSU in telecom at that particular time. And he has in fact brought telecom to the forefront and in the living room of all of us. I am very, very junior to him. I am an ITS officer from 1981 batch, so almost 25 years junior to him. But I was fortunate enough to have a small inning with Mr. B.M. Khanna. And I remember one day, friends, I just want to tell you how dedicated he was in telecom. When I got promoted from ADT to DET, I went to him. I was in computer section. I started the computerization in telecom industry in DOT and MTNL with the blessing of Mr. B.M. Khanna. And then I wanted to go out because at that time I was unmarried and I wanted to go out to difficult posting. When I approached him, he was heading the Delhi telephones. He told in Punjabi, of course, I can't speak Punjabi, but he said, Anil, a person like you, I can't relieve you from Delhi. You go to anybody, whether Secretary Telecom or Minister, I'll see that you remain in Delhi. You know, that was the love and love which he used to do for the telecom industry, and he ensured that I continue to work in computer, in Delhi telephone for long. So friends, this is about his telecom introduction. Let me talk to about his Vipassana. I remember when he used to discuss and give his management reviews in MTNL, he used to call people and then do yoga and ask people to do those kind of activity which was unthinkable at that particular time in management world. I still remember him, sir, and he is practicing Vipassana for the last 35 years. And as per him, this is a God-given gift from Lord Buddha to him. And that is why we are all fortunate enough that he has agreed to share his experience, his thoughts, and his love of Lord Buddha to all of us. Friends, his lecture is divided into various parts. Number one, he will introduce Vipassana to all of us, share his personal experience to all of us, how Vipassana has to be practiced, and what all we have to do, what benefit Vipassana can give to all of us, especially during a COVID time when all of us are scared about the health and worried about the health of all of us. And finally, at the end of 1 hour, he will answer the queries which any one of us have One by one, we will take up the questions from Mr. B.M. Khanna. He will answer till 5:30. After that, whatever questions are left, gentlemen, let me assure you that answer to all your queries left out will be sent to you through your emails, so that the things will be completed. And for the benefit of all of you, this particular webinar is recorded, and we will, Mr. Khanna will share this recorded webinar to all of you, so that you can further benefit more and more people on Vipassana. Now, without coming between you and Mr. Khanna, now I may request my Guru of Telecom and a God-given gift from Vipassana, Mr. B.M. Khanna, to share his thoughts, his experiences, and his practices on Vipassana to all of you. Over to Mr. B.M. Khanna.
Thank you, Anil. Let me first extend a very warm welcome to all of you who have taken time today on a holiday to come and grace your presence in this seminar. It's my good fortune that I have all of you with us. Anil has mentioned in the message that B.M. Khanna is an expert in Vipassana. I may add at the beginning, I'm just a small nursery student, someone who has learned his rhymes and loves to sing before the guests. So that little knowledge I have about Vipassana and the way it has benefited me, I thought I will share. This is my earnest desire, just as I have benefited, that one and all try it once and see for themselves what benefits Vipassana can bring to them health-wise, both physical and mental. In times of COVID, one is the fear of the disease, The other one is exclusion, loneliness. Oh, we are really very, very sick, that we cannot go to talk to anybody. And Vipassana, in a way, will take care of all these kind of things. Let me tell you, those of you who have not seen my talk or listened to my talk on YouTube, briefly how I came to Vipassana. Very impatient person, want everything yesterday. One of my officers who was a CMD of BSNL, I went to congratulate him in his daughter's marriage, and his wife was telling, if Mr. Khanna have his way, a child should be born in 6 months. I was so embarrassed, But kindly understand, impatience, you have to pay a price. It doesn't come free. You hurt yourself. And in Buddhism, patience is one of the virtues, is called Khanti Parmi. I was in ITI, I was not the CMD of ITI. I was the CEO of ITI Naini. When I joined there, 300 officers, 5,000 people in one place. You can understand all ego clashes in the senior officers when everybody is so highly intelligent. Called Swami Chinmayanand, over 3 weekends, Saturday, Sunday. Full Gita he covered. The fact will be for just about a week or 10 days. Then again ego clashes. Called Dr. Valecha from IIM Bangalore. In my earlier talk, I said Ahmedabad, no, he was from IIM Bangalore. Used to take my officers to Varanasi by the side of the Ganges. Again, those talks, very beautiful, excellent effect for a week or 10 days, and again it dissipates. And being, impatient, setting higher and higher targets, stress, all the time tension, let us go and internal target maybe at least 20 to 30% higher than the external target, and go on work for it day and night. Started getting blood pressure. I was wondering, when I love my people, I work honestly, why this blood pressure, I try to do with this, I was known as a Gita proponent, but nothing will help. I did communication workshop, I did less program. Then after my tenure in ITI from 79 to 83, I got posted as DDG Telecom in the Telecom Directorate. I was the chief architect of the 7th five-year plan. We had a very beautiful plan, comprehensive plan to see that nobody is starved of any telephone. We went to the planning commission chaired by none other than Dr. Manmohan Singh. And in that, it was a plan, I still remember the figure, 15,768 crores. We were given 4,000 crores. I said, sir, you allow us to go to the market, we can borrow. No, you have to only manage in this. And a couple of them in the, that meeting, they said, telecom is as important as five-star hotels. Whereas we are saying the economic growth and telecom density, they are linked together. There are examples galore. I used to go to so many ITU, World Telecoms, and I knew whatever is happening outside, The result, extreme anger. Felt like hitting everybody. Remember Telecom Commission at that time, Abid Hassan used to call me angry young man. My left hand was shaking involuntarily. That was the cause of that anger, Anger is, whether you have anger on a right cause or a wrong cause, it is going to hurt you. When you hold burning coals, they are going to burn your hand. I went to a neurosurgeon. He saw there is a growth in the brain. That is why your hand is shaking. You have to take these pills and you can't drive a scooter. I said, I have a car, but joining a carpool is very difficult for me because I don't like to be bound to office timings. In one of the seminars, Swami Ram, I was exposed to his talk. Didn't make much of a sense. Later on, we became great friends. He used to call us Shiv Parvati, but he was a spiritual soul, quite highly illuminated. But the teaching did not make any sense to me. When I came out on my car, there was a sticker, Vipassana meditation at Jaipur. I said, let me try this. This is a 10-day course. 10-day course for 10 days of noble silence, sitting 10 hours a day. For a man like me who could not sit still for 15 minutes. Went there, spent my time. After 10 days, I thought I can fly in the air, what is happening? I'm so light. Try to purchase some books, nothing will go, everything over my head and all that. I couldn't understand what is Lord Buddha saying. After that, I had a lot of problems, I think the third camp, I remember before I took over the reins of MTNL Delhi, it was in March 86, first April 86, the MTNL came into being. I joined on 26th of March. My body was oozing all over. It was this kind of liquid and all that, The Pashna is a tool that took my impatience out in the form of that viscous thing. I was not able to wear anything, just a sheet, but very alert, very peaceful. Talking to my officers, even though the MTN was going to come into being in 1st of April, I had never enjoyed that kind of peace and tranquility. That's the beauty of Vipassana, Later on, I had so many problems. I had herpes around the heart, very painful. That again disappeared within 2 weeks with Vipassana. The black spots, it left, that also disappeared. I had one time in my feet, and I went to the garden and some kind of there was a cyst on the right leg that I could not. I was asking that everybody was saying, but he didn't open the door. For 1 month, I was in Gangaram Hospital, and the doctor used to treat me. He said, sit on the ground. And with the time, there's nothing to boast about it. I can sit in Padmasana, which is so difficult. Leave alone sitting on the ground. That's the beauty of Vipassana. My wife, she starts getting some kind of knitting in the knees. She said, as if somebody is knitting with the needles. Otherwise, you would have to go for a knee joint transplant. So these are the kind of benefits which I derived, and I thought, why not share it with others? So I've been, when I was the CEO of MTNL Delhi, I used to talk to most of the Rotaries, give them talks. First talk on telecom, but with the promise the second talk will be on Vipassana. I don't know how many people caught it, how many did not. my colleagues in MTNL, BSNL, whenever I get an opportunity. In the last August at IIC, also I gave a talk in Upashna, which is on YouTube now. My friends, path is simple. Teaching is simple. The problem is the intellectual load that we carry, It is very difficult to understand because mine, it comes in the way. And nobody is willing to believe, when Lord Buddha got his enlightenment after about 6 years of hard practice, he said, whatever I have discovered, will anybody understand? He was very reluctant. For 3 weeks, 7 weeks after his enlightenment, he was strolling up and down at Bodh Gaya. Then Sahampati Brahma, it seems, he came to me and said, no, there are people with very little dust in their eyes and maybe you go and teach them. So that is how the first Sangha was born. He went to those 5 bhikshus who were with him and started teaching them. That is how the first one, the Dhammachak Parivartan. Most of you might have heard about it. The path mainly consists of 3 elements: Sheel, Samadhi, Pragya. Sheel is ethical conduct. Ethical conduct is not in simple terms, but something which is in yourselves, Broadly speaking, they say that don't tell a lie, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no drugs, no intoxicants, no hurting and killing. Whenever you go for a camp, these are the 5, precepts that you have to first undertake. And all right, you try to do all those things. But Selvan chemistry is otherwise. On the first opportunity, you will indulge in sexual misconduct. On the first opportunity, you will start partaking drinks. There is no desire left for, to partake of drinks or partake of non-vegetarian or indulge in corrupt practices and all those kind of things. Yes, the Vipassana does it. My friends, just as you have to build a house, you have to have a very strong foundation. For starting on the Dhamma path enunciated by Lord Buddha, Sheel is very important. That is like that foundation. Without that, nothing will happen. I have seen some people in the politics and all that who have gone and attended these workshops, but they are not able to inculcate Sheel in their progress. Just cannot be. Samadhi is very difficult, which I will come later on. What is Pragya? Pragya is something, it is not the intelligence that we normally say that I understand everything. Pragya is maintaining equanimity under all situations. I'll give you an example. There was one Saint Kumargiri. He had, in my earlier talk also have mentioned, Samant Bijgut. Samant Bijgut used to go to Chitralekha and Kumargiri will tell him, no, don't do that and it is not good. This fellow, Kumargiri, was brahmachari, So naturally he will advise everybody like that. One day Chitralekha decided, I said, let me go and become this gentleman's disciple. His whole world was torn apart, He wanted Chitralekha to be near him all the time. She said, I came to you because I thought you were a very highly spiritual person, but you are also a very ordinary man. Very ordinary person. He had practiced abstinence. It had not gone out of his health. Sexual misconduct had not gone out of his health. I am very fond of an example by Osho. It is a pendulum. One side, it will oscillate. Pull on the other side, it will oscillate. So, no stealing, no telling lies, no sexual misconduct, no intoxicants, and no hurting, killing. You try to practice by pulling the pendulum on this side, trying to control yourself. That is very good, no problem. But my friends, your cellular chemistry knows these afflictions. They will again surface anytime. So the pendulum will again start oscillating. There is subjugation, denial, escape, indulgence. Both are 2 sides of the same coin. Pragya is the pendulum in the center when it is in a very standstill position. So, meditation doesn't mean that you should curb all these tendencies. Meditation means when these tendencies arise, see them as they are. That is Pragya. Without any I interference, without subjugation, without denial, without indulgence. That is the meaning of it. Utmost equanimity under all circumstances, whether it is painful or is pleasurable, equanimity has to be maintained. If Pragya is understood, you have understood the Buddha's teachings. So long as you keep on fighting, meditation is not compelled concentration, my friends. It is effortless concentration. And observing the thoughts in the mind is again choiceless observation, where there is no I interference. Absolutely no I interference. Permanence, they arise and pass away, arise and pass away. Just see this perpunch, it's going on and on and on. And if you try to interfere, you multiply. Then the computer knows that the program is right, it repeats the program. All your afflictions of your likes, dislikes, covetousness, greed, aversion, anger, fear of COVID-19 or fear of anything, fear of death, fear of being alone, they will get rewritten in the cells. You can't do anything about it. There is no way that they can be taken out of your chemistry. And mind you, the cellular chemistry. It is not the brain chemistry only. Intellectually, one can understand, yes, I should do this, I should do that, but it doesn't happen. There are very beautiful 3 stanzas in Dhammapada, where Lord Buddha, I think, has beautifully stated the law. He says, Sabbe sankhara anichati, yada panyaye pasati, atnibandati dukkhe esmago visuddhiya. All imprints on the consciousness of your love, dvesh, moh, your greed, your anger, your covetousness, your self-grasping, your self-cherishing, they are impermanent. Yada panyaya pasati, who sees it with wisdom, with pragya, which I have already explained, atni bandhati dukkhe esmago visuddhiya. This is the path of purification. Then he says, sabbe sankhara dukkhati, yada pansaya pasati, atni bandhati dukkhe esmago visuddhiya. All these imprints, when they arise and all that, they might look pleasurable, but they are all dukkhati. They are all suffering. The third one is the most beautiful, which is nowhere, and it was never stated in clear terms anywhere. Sabbe dhamma anatati yada paye pasati atnibandati dukkhe asmago visuddhiya. What is dhamma? Dhamma is all phenomena, all the cosmic creation that you see. It doesn't have any independent existence. No independent existence whatsoever. We have a strong belief that I am an independent person. You are only my friend, dependently arisen. I'll come to that dependent origination. I have my eyes. I see with my eyes. These are my eyes. This is my tongue. This is my brain. I think with it. This body that you and I have and a dead body, there is no difference. You will be shocked to hear this. There is no difference. It's only because the consciousness that links with the body that makes it work. The moment the consciousness leaves, it's the end of the game. Vinyan, consciousness, Naam Roop, body and mind. Vinyan, Naam Roop, this goes on and on. This is the cycle of birth and death, rebirth, birth and death, birth, aging, disease, death, birth, aging, disease, death. It goes on. If you have a very strong belief in your soul, Atman, my soul is permanent, Unfortunately, Gita's this message has vitiated our outlook on life, We think that, okay, I can do whatever I like. Next life I have, let me enjoy this life, It is your karmic cycle which determines, and that is dependently reason cause of your egocentric nature. He says, that aham, avidya, he calls it ignorance of a strong belief in myself. And avidya gives rise to these sanskaras of or afflictions in the mind, like rag, dvesh, aham, likes, dislike, egocentric nature. These are the colored glasses that you wear. Then out of this comes Vijnan. Vijnan means your awareness. But this awareness is afflicted because it has got imprints of consciousness like Lag, Dvesh, Aham, which I mentioned. So you have, as a result of Vijnan, you have Nam Roop. Nam Roop, you get 6 items. There are 6 items which are body and mind. In the body, you have tongue, you have got your ears, you have got your nose, you have got your ears, you have got your, these are all 5 objects, 5 sense doors, and the 6th one, of course, is mind, where you have your own thoughts, my mind. Yes, your reflected mind. The mind, which has a computerized program. This is the colored glasses you and I see the world with those eyes. You know everything and you don't know. The beauty of this is, when anything touches them, Buddha calls it phasa. When anything comes in contact with them, there is a vedana, there is a sensation. Sensation is actually a feeling, And these sensations are not only mental, they are physical sensations in the body which you are not able to see because your mind is not calm and tranquil. This phasa gives rise to vedana. And vedana gives rise to pleasurable vedana. The vedanas are 3 types, both pleasurable, painful, and also neutral. Neutral are far more dangerous because that is from the egocentric nature. From vedana arises tanha. Tanha is craving, aversion. This is beautiful music, I want more of it. This is beautiful, I want more of it. But everything finally is going to be, as I said, impermanent and die. You want more of it, enjoy it, but don't start owning it, From Tana, he says, is Upadan. Upadan is self-grasping. My house, my property, my children. You start owning them. And when they don't listen to you, then again the suffering arises. From Upadan, the self-grasping of self itself gives rise to bhav, birth, jati, jara, maranam, shok, paridev. This is how he says that cycle goes on. But when you are exposed to Buddha's teachings and get the benefits as I mentioned, then there is a confidence in the Buddha's teachings. Then, there is something which is going to be of help to me. They call it Shraddha. But for that, you need patience, to develop, to come to that kind of stage. As I said, 10 days of meditation, 10 hours a day. Initially, it requires a lot of patience. Later on, you can go even for 60 days. There is a gentleman called Harari, who is a great writer. He has done 60-day course, So this Shraddha, just like Babaji says, Shraddha Sabri. So with the patient, when pramod arises, happy that I don't explore anything elsewhere now, So pramod, then Preeti Sukh, mentally you are satisfied now. No, I don't have to go here and there as I was running about, to see how can I get rid of all these things. From pramod, then Samadhi is that stage which is very difficult, When I said Shil Samadhi Pragya, the Samadhi becomes far late in the development of practice of Vipassana, So when you see in a deep state of Samadhi, you see that everything is in a flux. Yaha Bhuta Nana Darshanam, everything is in flux. There's nothing there. That egocentric nature that I'm doing, actually it is nothing but an illusion and some kind of, like an illusion. Just like a flash of lightning. Then you develop nibbida, which is called dispassion. What is all this and all that? You want to get over it. Just as Buddha had and all that, and he was disenchanted. So he went out and in search of truth. From this enchantment, it gives rise to a notion which is called Vairag. Vairag go to Vimutti. That means not liberated. Vimutti means, in the Buddha's parlance, you get Vimutti Nana Dasanam. You actually see now you are liberated, not that you are liberated only intellectually, you know. I'll give you an example to illustrate what are these things. Supposing I'm a very thirsty man looking for water in a desert, and somebody comes and tells me if you go this direction, you will get water of sweet water, you know. It's the Buddha's teaching. When you walk on the desert, you are confident that because this gentleman who has told me, he would have known it. He said, yes, I know that there is a well of sweet water. So there is some kind of mental joy. Yes, I will now get water. You know, that is called piti. Piti is important in Buddhism. Well, drink that water, then you are bodily relaxed, possibly relaxed. Drinking that water, you feel absolutely happy and satisfied. That's sukh. That's the sukh. Body becomes very light. That when you are advanced in meditation, body becomes very light, mind becomes free of afflictions. Then you go into samadhi. That is a very sharp microscope. You might have seen there is one slide, there is one presentation by NASA, power of 10 to the power 23. They have gone up, found only empty space, you know, nothing but empty space. First you go and you see our own galaxy, you see your own planets, then you see your own galaxy, travel within the galaxy, go beyond it and all that. Then your galaxy also becomes very minuscule. Finally, there is nothing but empty space. Then when you start deep diving inside, they have gone up to minus 16. Again, they begin to see, but they have not been able to go beyond that because they didn't have more powerful microscopes. Buddha had gone beyond that. Everything coming out of emptiness, shunyata. If you divide 1 by 0, you have infinite numbers, you know. So from that sublime space, which is called shunyata, look at the cosmic variations, whether it is flora, whether it is fauna, whether the human beings or different species. Very difficult to imagine, you know, how these have come about. This is on account of called Shunyata. Shunyata, after that he calls Dharam Dhatu, which is called Dharam Kaya. They are integral part of each other. We are a minuscule created on that Dharam Dhatu. I think our parlance, we earlier used to call it Kundalini. In Buddhism, they call it Dharam Dhatu. Dharam Dhatu originally is luminous, all-knowing, blissful, but on account of this, it is now under a veil of afflictions that we carry, likes, dislikes, egocentric nature. Main problem is Sakaya Ditti, you know, our strong belief in ourselves, very strong belief in ourselves. I see with my eyes. Do you see with your eyes? There is an object, there is light, there is an eye. And immediately with all these conditions being present, there is the stream of consciousness. You see only because of that, you know, the accompanying stream of consciousness. It is not your eye which sees. It is not your ears which you hear. It is not your tongue which tastes. It is not your body which has the understanding of tactile subjects and all that. So unless this strong belief in yourself is shaken, gone off, my friend, suffering will not cease. Suffering will not cease. Sabbe dhamma anatati yada payyaye pasati atni mandati dukkhe esmagu visuddhiya. All phenomena, they are free of any intrinsic existence. All are dependently arisen. You are dependently arisen, dependent on causes and conditions. Once this is understood, then the suffering is gone. I suffer because I am. You told me this thing. big problem. So I have to give you back. And when there is no I, there is no mind, then there are different states like Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha. Metta is that love. Love for your man, love for your woman, love for your spouse, love for your children, love for your neighbors, love for your society around. And this metta is not that kind of thing which is reciprocal, selfless. Like the love of a mother. Mother loves you, whether you kick her, when you are young, whether you scream, whatever you do, she loves, sacrificing all her comforts. So metta is that kind of category. Karuna, of course, is the overflowing compassion which made Lord Buddha to go and teach the world. And that is why you and I people, today we have a path where we can get rid of our suffering, our fear of, let me say, because of the seminar, COVID-19 and so on and so forth. You see, what is mudita? We are always jealous of each other. I was seeing one cartoon, Indians, they don't shake hands, they only pull each other's legs, If you are succeeding, nobody likes it. If you are a famous person, nobody likes it. If you are a rich person, nobody likes it. If your neighbor's daughter gets married and your daughter is there, then you feel as if there are coals on your chest. Mudita means whatever happens, you are as if it is happening to you. If colleague gets promotion, as if it is your promotion. Of course, you are superseded and you have the pain. Yes, the pain is there. But don't start creating animosity towards that person who has been promoted over you. Don't start cursing the neighbor because his daughter has been married and your daughter has not been married. Don't feel jealous. Now you have a car, he has got a bigger car. So you have a bigger problem. Your car looks useless to you and all that. Again, you start suffering, So mudita is empathetic joy. On the path, this is very important. Upekha, as I've already said, equanimity. There's a part of pragya. Extreme equanimity, pragya development to the extreme is that utmost equanimity under all circumstances. Pleasurable, painful, and all those kind of things. So sakaya ditti, when it is broken, when you understand that it is not my eyes which see, it is the stream of consciousness which is dependently risen as a result of my previous karmic actions. We have a storehouse of action, But only those actions matter which are intentional. If unintentionally you tread over something and kill it, that is not the one which is going to leave a bad imprint on your consciousness. Whatever you do intentionally, we intentionally want to hurt others. We intentionally want to abuse others. We intentionally want to see that others' life is destroyed, Covetousness. Try to grab other man's property. Try to, see that whatever others have, how I can acquire by hook or crook. These are my friends, you have to pay for that. There are lower realms, animal realm, hell realm. If you are greedy and don't take care of your servants, don't care of your fellow beings, you will finally, with all the money that you have, you will go into a realm where you will have a small mouth, Buddha says, and you will not be able to eat. If you are very angry, you will go to a realm which is just like a burning river. And Petas, this animal realm, then there are higher realms. All this that you are having in this life, you are very fortunate. Some of your kushal karma, that you are a human being, let us not waste that life. Like a Kulua bad, we are born, first of all, nursery, then parents start learn more and more, then go to school, better and better grades. Then you have to get higher degree, professional degree, then this job, better job, change the job. All our life is a struggle. All our life is nothing but a struggle and painful struggle. And we go on like grinding like a Kulua bad, Is there an end to this suffering? The suffering so-called birth, rebirth, and death, aging. And then shows the way. Treading the path is in your hands. Making use of this life, that is the purpose of this life, is in your hands. I'm very fond of a prayer which I often, oh Lord, there are distractions galore, and we are merrily entangled. You came, you conquered, you have shown the way. Bestow upon us energy and wisdom to tread the path so beautifully enunciated by you, with steadfast determination, unswerving zeal, so that we can attain to bodhicitta and ultimate Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings in the 10 directions. That is the purpose of this life, to make small advancements, small steps, so that life after life, then when you have, these will come in your way. Lord Buddha's sermon, he was the king of Kurus, in some old life. He has been Lord Indra also in some of his lives. In Kuru kingdom, people were steadfast followers of Sheel. So he said, why not I go and teach them the Dhamma? And he went there in the Kuru kingdom, it's near Kamaspur it seems, where he enunciated the Dhamma, And that is called Ma Sati Pathan Sutta. This is one of the most beautiful discourses ever given, complete. As I said, as a nursery student, I just give you a very small preamble. It is for you to deep dive into it and see what all is given there. It has not been given anywhere by anybody, and nor will it be given except for a next Buddha to be, Dhamma, which is there, the teaching which are there, he says, Swakhato Bhagavato Dhammo, Sandipthiko, Akaliko, Ahipasiko, Opanaiko, Pachatam Vedi Tabbo Beniviti. Dhamma is well stated by the Lord. Sandipthiko, something seen with his own eyes, not something which is read in the books or Vedas or Gitas or Upanishads. He was a very learned person even before that, Sandipthiko, Akaliko, timeless. It is not something which was not there before. It was there earlier, discovered by the earlier Buddhas. Ahipasiko, Ao, Dekho, Opaneko, this is forward taking. Today, whatever bank balance you have got, you will go with a better bank balance. A consciousness which is clean, consciousness which you inherited with karmic afflictions, some of them they can be obliterated, Opanaiko, Pachatam Vedi Tabbo Benuti, he says for the wisdom to come and see for themselves. He is not saying that you believe in my teachings. He says, come, try, see for yourself, where you get the benefits. If I am talking to you, if I have the urge somehow at even this age, when I can be just enjoying my rest, to share with you, because I have tried and seen and benefited, and I wish that each one of us, you tries and sees the benefit for himself. Don't believe whatever I am saying. Don't believe whatever my experiences are. Your own experiences. Go and attend a 10-day camp. Goenka ji, big businessman in Burma, plentiful of money, no problem, severe migraine all over the world. Knower of Gita, Upanishads, and a great teacher of these things. Pakka Sanatani, He will not touch anything else. Migraine won't go. He tried morphine shots and all that all the time. Very miserable. Finally, Uba Khin, who was the Accountant General of India, somehow he met him and he coaxed him to try one camp. And once you are into your path, then you say that there are different ways and all that. Why should I try and all that? My way is good enough and all that. Gita, Upanishad, Vedas, whatever I am doing, art of living, or TM or whatever. It's good enough for now. I don't want to try. Somehow he coaxed him. He tried. In one of the camps, his migraine was gone. He was so much interested that he went further. His teacher told him, no, you go back to India and start, because this Dhamma came to me from India. I want to repay the debt, which is there, and show the gratitude. You go and start. He started teaching. I was the lucky one that in 1985 I was exposed to that at the age of 50. Today, these 10-day retreats, they are world over, made by donation by those people who have benefited from this. They don't take any donation from anybody from outside. No. And whosoever goes, the 10-day camp, 10 hours a day, noble silence, one meal between 11:30 to 12, comes back refreshed and has an urge to pursue the path. Today, if you put www.dhamma.org, it will show the centers world over. There is no place in the world, no country in the world where these centers are not there, and all filled with the money donated by those participants and all that. Dhamma spreads by itself. It doesn't need advertisements in the press. It doesn't need media. It doesn't need communication. It just spreads by itself and all that, It doesn't need anybody's support. That's how he had, but he had that, just as I have benefited, I want to benefit others, Now, coming to the actual meditation, there are three things. First of all, mind has to become calm and tranquil. And the best way to that is anapanasati, awareness of your own natural breathing, natural rhythm. Mind you, it is not pranayama. Many people confuse this with pranayama. Natural, whether it breathes fast, whether it is perceptual, whether you can perceive it or you can't perceive it, whether it is in one nostril or the second nostril. The idea is to see sensations. It is only through the bodily sensations that you can neutralize the afflictions in the mind, So one fixes the awareness in the small spot, the upper nostril, and observes the incoming and outgoing breath. Incoming and feeling and outgoing. Touch of the incoming and outgoing breath as it enters and as it leaves. After entering, where it goes, none of my problem. Where it comes from, none of my problem. I'm only with the feeling here, the touch of the sensation here. So when you practice with equanimity for some time, you start having sensations. Something will start happening as there are some ants or something. So that means now you are able to see body sensations. But my friend, but this is very easy. This is not very easy, Your mind won't stay for more than a couple of seconds. Try 5 seconds, 10 seconds. It will drift. So be it. Do not mind the drift of the mind. Many people say, I cannot concentrate. I am not asking you to concentrate. I am asking you, just start with this. If the mind drifts, so be it. Remember my word, so be it. Just joyless observation of thoughts as they rise and pass away, rise and pass away. You will see the thoughts. They are coming on their own. They are not your thoughts. They are arising and passing in the stream of consciousness. They arise, exist, destruct themselves. In Buddha's, basically his teachings have been divided into Vinaya basket, then Sutta Pitaka, then Abhidhamma Pitaka. In Abhidhamma it is written that one mind moment is 7 seconds. And in 17 mind moments, body has only one mind moment. So 750 into 17, you make 13 milliseconds. It is a study by Harvard. Anything that is there for 30 milliseconds is visible. Beyond that, if it's lower than that, it is not visible. So mind and body, they are totally like by like. Whatever is in the mind, that is also reflected in the body. It is there stored in your cells. your likes, your dislikes, your egocentric nature. So when the two link, just like homeopathy, it acts because like by like, your own mind will uproot your body afflictions. That is how my herpes disappeared within 2 weeks. Because my mind was calm and tranquil. I was meditating for those 2 weeks and all that and went away, you know. No need for any medicine. The black spots which were there, such deep black spots, they also disappeared within 6 months. That is the beauty of your own mind. Once I remember, I was at Rishikesh giving a talk to the National Productivity Council people, one Mr. Gupta. He used to call me. And from there we went to Rishikesh, we went to Mussoorie, and on the way there is a place called Sahasradhara. I jumped on it. There was a deep cut in the forehead. Since we were traveling, they were all worried and all that. Very calm and tranquil. My awareness rested here, and this cut healed without leaving a scar. That's the beauty of your own mind. Healing your own body, healing your own fears, which are stored in your consciousness. Please don't have any fear of COVID-19. Just take precautions. Fear of loneliness, fear of exclusion. What shall I do? You know, I'm fed up and all that. You can't go out and all that. You can't go out. No, so what? Meditate and enjoy yourself. In aloneness, there is oneness. When you are alone, this is an opportunity for you. This is what is said by Krishnamurti, aloneness is one. We feel miserable because of this now curfew and all those kind of things, because you cannot go and mix with others. Start meditating, as I've said. Now, as I said, start with, this is called Anapanasati, awareness of the natural rhythm of breathing. Mind will drift, awareness of thoughts as they arise and pass away. After some time, where when you go for 3 days, you practice only Anapanasati, the mind becomes calm and tranquil. Then you link with the entire body. Let the awareness encompass the entire body. You will begin to see sensations in different parts of the body. We are a being we are a being in flux. It's not a solid entity that you and I are looking at, because we cannot look at, just like a bulb which is 50 cycles and the light seems steady. We are also vibrating phenomena, so that, but we look, our different parts in the body are fluctuating, are vibrating at different frequencies and all that. So when the mind is calm and tranquil, it is called Samta Bhavana, and links with the body, that is Vipassana. Because it is only through observation of sensations in the body with utmost equanimity that your afflictions will be uprooted. This is the lesson. This is not the teaching. If you understand this, and there is no I-ness there, no compelled effort there, let the awareness, when the mind becomes calm and tranquil on its own, encompass the entire body, and it will see the sensations in different parts of the body. And I said, when you are in deep state of samadhi, then you will see Yatha Bhuta Nana Dasanam, that means everything is vibrating. Then you get to have disenchantment. Then you have dispassion, Virag, Vimutti, and Dasanam. No more cycle of birth and death. It's a fact. This is what he says. We may not be able to see in this life, maybe after several lives. But once you are on the path, one thing is certain, which I strongly believe, you will not go into lower realms. Today, when you think that you are engaging in all kinds of corrupt practices, all kinds of lies, all kinds of misconduct, my friends, your karmic cycle will take care of you. Nobody can prevent you from going to low realms. Even those who are highly spiritual people, they can go to low realms if they do not shed their belief in an independent self. It is a belief in independent self which takes you to the lower realms, which creates karma, which takes akushal karma, which creates negative karma. Please shed that belief that you have an independent self. You have an intrinsic, there is nothing in this Nothing in the cosmos which has independent nature. Everything is dependently risen, as I explained. From Vidya, Sankhara, Vijnana, Nam Roop, Salaitan, six item, anything touching, Sasa, contact, that creates Tanha, craving, aversion. Then Upadan, Bhav, Jati, Jara, Marnam, it goes on. Then I've gone beyond, Pramod, confidence in the Buddha's teaching, Shraddha, Pramod, Iti, Prasadi, Samadhi, Sukh, Samadhi, as a good example of the man going to the well. Please have confidence in the Buddha's teaching. Try it and see for yourself. Relaxed attention is the key. Compelled concentration is not the one which is a part of meditation. Effortless concentration. It should happen. Effort is only in sitting. And mind you, it requires strong determination, unswerving, unflinching determination to sit and do nothing. It's a waste of time. There are 5 hindrances, my friends. One is the sensual desires. As I said, the distraction galore and very entangled. The second one is vyapa, anger, displeasure with the world. The third is thin wind. Alas, Talam told, Abhi hamara kaam, hamara time nahi aaya, so we will see later on and all that. Abhi, let me enjoy our drinks, Let me enjoy what we are doing. Business losses, not getting a promotion which is due, or jealousy because somebody else has got something and I have not got it. Then vichikicha, doubt. If I do this, will I get anything? These are the 5 hindrances to take care. Start with anapanasati. Relax the tension. Mind you, cosmic energy couples with your mind, makes your mind calm and tranquil, only when stop interfering. Makes it calm and tranquil. But if you go along with your thoughts, and if you keep on indulging and trying to, my friend, if I forcefully bring my mind back on the breathing, there's a conflict, there's a waste of energy. Mind doesn't want to stay here, mind has got thoughts. And you want to bring it back forcibly. Is it not a waste of energy? So just see the thoughts in that mind as they arise and pass away. Equanimous mind. Samta bhare chitta se, sajag, sachet. You can't be meditating, I'll meditate when I'm sleeping, sorry, no. Sajag, alert, attentive, relaxed, peaceful mind, and above all, equanimous mind. Choiceless observation of thoughts as they arise and pass away, Understand their impermanence. As I have said, Sabbe sankhara nityati yada panyaya pasati atinibandati dukhe esmo vidya. When you stop interference and just dispassionately watch whatever is going on, watch with patience, just seeing whatever is happening, that is meditation. Mind or later shall become calm and tranquil and come back on the rhythm of breathing, flow of breathing at this spot, and you will begin to see sensation. And that can encompass the entire body with your mind, body sensations. And these are the body sensations which is going to help you to uproot your affliction. The colored glasses that you view, we see the world with these colored glasses. The joy of knowing the reality as it is, the reality from moment to moment, the joy of knowing will trigger the neurons in your brain and release chemicals which I call an injection custom tailored in the laboratory of your mind by your brain for your well-being. You will feel relaxed. Oh, these thoughts are coming and going, they are impermanent. So the joy of knowing internally. Anger, I'm very angry. Fine. But if you realize that there is an anger which is hurting you, then in that case the anger will go away. But if you fight the anger, as I said in that pendulum example, it will multiply. So my friends, relaxed, peaceful, alert, attentive, सजग, सचेत, शांत चित्त से, समता भरे चित्त से. Both the body sensations and the thoughts there arising and passing away. This will give you the tremendous amount of benefits. So I do not know whether we should start meditation at this time. I would like to just give you a brief preface to Mahasatipatthana Sutta, which I mentioned, which was delivered in Kamaspur in Kuru Kingdom. He says, Ekayanam bhikkhuve, maggo satanam. Ekayam एकमात्र मार्ग है for the purification of consciousness of beings. एकमात्र मार्ग है. Try anything else, it won't work. It's only through the body afflictions, only encompassing the body sensations with your own mind. That is the one. And now he says there are four places where to look for it. One is Kaya Nupassana. Kaya Nupassana Vigrati, Atmanibandhati Dukya. The second one is Vedana Nupassana. The third one is Chitta Nupassana. The fourth one is Dhamma Nupassana. Why these four? Kaya, he says, what is ugly? What is inside in the body? It's so beautiful. What is beautiful about it? Look at yourself in the age of 50 and after the age of when you are 85 or 90 or whatever it is. How the aging is changing everything and all that. So the change, Kaya Nupassana is changing your perspective from beautiful to ugly, so that you understand, don't get infatuated with your beauty and your looks, you know. Then Vedana Nupassana, whatever you are considering as pleasure is actually painful. So change the perspective from pleasurable to painful. That is why there is urgency for you to go across the ocean of suffering called samsara. Chitta Nupassana. Whatever is impermanent, you change your, whatever your perspective is on permanence, change it to impermanence. We know that we are going to die. The whole world is dying in front of me, but I am sure that I am not going to die. I am going to live long. You know that death is certain, time may be uncertain. So change your perspective, that is Chitta Nupassana. Dhamma Nupassana is the most profound statement, the most profound path of meditation, in which belief in yourself is uprooted. The belief in soul, which is permanent, is uprooted. Unless that happens, my friend, you cannot go across the ocean of suffering called samsara. It is very difficult, you know. When everything else is okay, but so far as I am there, I, me, mine, my children, own your children, if they go against you, feel miserable, you suffer. You know, don't own them, enjoy them, gift of life. Metta is again, as I said, very important. Love your man, love your woman, love your children, don't own them, love your neighbor, love society at large, selfless love, which I mentioned. You see, the suffering will begin to cease. And as I said, in this COVID-19 times, if you understand that aloneness is oneness, the whole thing will, beautifully change and all that. He says, Kaya Nupasi Vigarti, Atapi Sampajano Satima, Vinay Loke Vidya Domanasam. 3.5 हाथ की काया में both mental and physical suffering is there. 3.5 हाथ की काया में, not in the books. They are not going to tell you, you read this, very beautiful teaching. It's not going to think. Kaya Nupasi Vigarti, Dhammesu Dhamma Nupasi Vigarti, Chitta Nupasi Vigarti, Vedana Nupasi Vigarti. I lay more emphasis on Vedana, bodily afflictions. When you start meditating, first go only to Anapanasati. When the mind starts becoming calm and tranquil, and when it on its own starts encompassing the entire body, then your reflection will start getting uprooted. Then, as I said, various things that came my way will come anybody's way, whether it be a Christian or a Hindu or a Muslim or whichever faith. It has nothing to do with faith. Many times I give an example from J.K. Murthy. In a dark room, there was a black cat. There was a theosophist and a philosopher. The philosopher said, cat is only a couple of sleeps away. I'm going to discover it. I'm going to get it. Theosophists, of course, they are always right. They say, I got it by the tail. Cat was never in the room. Cat is in this Vinay Loke. 3.5 हाथ की काया में ही है. Here only you have to discover the supreme, discover whatever is the most blissful state, the state that will take you across the ocean of suffering. Vinay Loke Abhijya Domanasam. What is Abhijya? Freedom from both mental and physical suffering, which we are inflicting ourselves during these kind of times little more intensely. So when we meditate, I'll give you instructions. Awareness of the flow of breath, relaxed, peaceful, alert, attentive, equanimous mind, sajag, suchet, shant chitta se, samta bhare chitta se. This is important, equanimous mind. Let the mind drift, so be it. Do not mind the drift of the mind. Just observe the thoughts as they arise and pass away, arise and pass away. Sooner or later, mind shall become calm and tranquil. When you realize that the mind has a lot of thoughts, realize internally, awareness arises internally that mind is in a state of flux. It will begin to calm down. It is like a thief which is caught in the act of thieving. Once it becomes calm and tranquil, it will come back on the flow of breath on its own. I'm becoming repetitive because I want to drive this message home. Don't get upset if you cannot stay on the breathing for more than a couple of seconds. A time will come when you will be able to stay on your breathing for a very long time. Or rather, you will not know whether breathing is taking place or not, and your awareness will encompass the entire body. That is Vipassana. If you have understood, I do not know how much of time has passed. Anil? Is it now, how many minutes have gone?
Sir, we have another 15 minutes, 17 minutes available. So what I suggest that if we can have 5-7 minutes for the question answer session. So you can carry on for another 5 minutes, 7 minutes, sir.
No, I don't want to carry on. I just want now to have 20 minutes meditation session with all the participants. Is it okay with everybody?
15-20 minutes may not be because the seminar is up to 5:30, sir. So
make
we have around
don't worry
minutes,
about
sir.
Don't worry about time. So I think but meditation for 20 minutes is quite important, to understand what I've been talking,
No, sir, let me check up because whether the seminar can be extended by some time. Let me check up, sir. But in the meantime, you can start, sir.
Can you put an alarm for 20 minutes?
Yes, sir. Let me check up, sir.
Let us take off our specs. Sit states. Body relaxed. Eyes gently closed. Spine straight. No bodily movement. Awareness of the flow of breath. A small spot at the entrance of the two nostrils in the upper lip area, as I explained. Sajag, Sachet, Shant Chitta se, Samta Bhare Chitta se, alert, attentive, relaxed, peaceful. आया सांस गया सांस बस आते जाते सांस की जानकारी बनी रहे. If the mind drifts, so be it. Do not mind the drift of the mind. Just observe the thoughts as they rise and pass away. Understand that they are impermanent. Sooner or later, mind shall become calm and tranquil and come back on the flow of breath on its own. Once that happens, you will begin to see sensations in that small area which I mentioned in the beginning. Then let the awareness encompass the entire body. See sensations as they arise and pass away in different parts of the body. That is the way to uproot all your afflictions. Samta chit se mind. Observe the thoughts as well as the bodily sensations. Alert, attentive, relaxed, peaceful, sajak, suchit, शांत चित्त से, समता भरे चित्त से, आया सांस गया सांस, बस आते जाते सांस की जानकारी बनी रहे. Mind shall drift. Do not mind the drift of the mind. Just observe the thoughts as they arise and pass away. No eye interference. Dispassionate observation of what is. This will make the mind calm and tranquil sooner or later and come back on its own breath. The home of mind is the breathing. You are born with the first breath and go away from this world with the last breath. Let the mind come back on your natural rhythm of breathing on its own. No push-pull, no compelled concentration, effortless coupling, choiceless observation of thoughts. And when the mind becomes calm and tranquil, choiceless coupling of the mind with the body and see the sensations as they rise and pass away in different parts of the body. Alert, attentive, sajak, sachit, shant, chit. Cool, sajak, cool, sachit, cool, santa. Alert, attentive, relaxed, peaceful. Body relaxed, spine straight, eyes gently closed. Go on. If the mind doesn't stay, start again, start again.
हाँ बिल्कुल, you can do it. लो, yes.
20 minutes over.
खोले. Hello, who's speaking?
Sir, now 20 minutes are over.
Please gently open your eyes. Very gently open your eyes and come back to a normal state. Very gently open your eyes and come back to a normal state. Very gently come back to the normal state. Please open your eyes and come back to the normal state. I hope everybody enjoyed.
Yes, sir. So if you permit, sir, we have certain questions.
Any number of questions. For me, there is no hurry, but participants, we have to see out their time. I am available for any amount of time.
All right, sir. So one by one, sir, I'll read out.
Yeah.
The first question is from Mr. Alok Sharma. He want to know how to know where are the center of Vipassana at Delhi and Mumbai, and how to get the details of the programs from there.
If you put www.dhamma.org and your location is on, and say the Dhamma Vipassana Center near my location, it will throw up. In Delhi, we have Kamaspur, but that is only for those who are advanced students. Then we have one center, Sona Center. If you go to Google and you just say Sona Vipassana Center, it will open the center and show all the programs. You can book the program online. There is no fee. These programs are absolutely donation driven. After you finish the program, you like. Book online, you will get a confirmation, and no payment is to be made. As I said, boarding, lodging is totally free and taken care of by the house. After 10 days, you can donate whatever you like.
Thank you very much, sir. I hope
anywhere in the world, www.dhamma.org, if you put, you can throw up a center near you, anywhere in the world.
Okay. I hope, Alok ji, you must have got the right answer from Mr. B.M. Khanna. Sir, the second question has come from Mr. Naresh Kumar. He is an ITS officer. He says that Vipassana, in case it would have been given at a very young age, then the more benefit can be given to the person rather than taking Vipassana at a later stage. In fact, this is another question, sir, which comes saying that whether Vipassana is good only for people which are more than 50 or it is good for everybody.
Vipassana, if you ask me, it should be started at a very early age. I've been always wishing, had I started at the age of 20-25, they have a program for children also, so that they are, then the seed will get very strongly embedded in them. So actually, any stage, the younger stage, the better. 50 I mentioned because I started at 50, And when I went to IIC, they said we will hold another program because this is mostly for middle-aged people and old people. They don't understand that how much is the stress for young people, Younger people, they suffer more stress. The retired people, at least, the people who are old enough, they have got a roof over their head. They don't have to worry about their livelihood. But young generation, you know how much is the tension. Whether I'll have my job tomorrow or not have my job tomorrow. This will help you find solutions to your without losing your balance. Start as early as possible. Please ask your children. But most of the children, they will say our time has not come.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Way. He says, when I do Vipassana, I get body jerks in between. And at times, there is a sudden rise of panic. Please advise.
So you are very fortunate. The panic that you have in between will go away. Understand it is impermanent. I have been emphasizing on the impermanent. Sabda sankhara anicchati. So this jerk is impermanent. Whatever you are facing is impermanent. Stay with it. Equanimity. Utmost equanimity. Once you stay with equanimity, there are people who say that I sit in cross-legged long time. your body is there. You will get up, you will not know whether you have been sitting or not for a long time, you know. For me, it was very good to sit for 15 minutes to start with. I used to say, Gunka, you have to ghanti baja do. Then, I think in one of the programs, 10-day programs, I sat for 4 hours at a stretch, you know. You don't know, you like it. Your body will, you know, but practice gradually. No expectations. Nowhere to go. Nothing to achieve. Only meditate and let things happen by themselves. You have nothing in your hand, you must understand. So one of my friends, you know, he used to say that my father gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning. कि मुझे भगवान के दर्शन करने हैं. मैं कहा, please stop him, it will give him a heart attack. It happened, you know. There's nowhere to go, nothing to achieve, no expectations, no comparison with anybody, leave alone with yourself. Today I had a very good meditation, tomorrow I'm not worried. I told you, just from moment to moment, stay with it with equanimity. One thing I have not touched on Ashtanging Marg. There are 3 things which I want you to refer on internet and all that. You know, it's a storehouse of information. One is, as I said, Mahasati Pathan Sutta, which I mentioned in a preamble. This is a subject which can go over for a month, and very beautiful discourse. Before that, Patich Subutpad, it is called dependent origination, which I mentioned right from, you know, Avidya, Sankhara, Vijnana, Nam, Rupa, Salayatan. Read that carefully. The third is Dhammachakra Parivartan, with the very first one, where Buddha started, you know, with Samadhi, Sama Sankapo, Sama Vacha, Sama Ajivo, Sama Vyayamo, Sama Sati, Sama Vyayamo. You don't start with that, I will not get up till I get rid of my afflictions. No. Sama Vyayamo. Buddha's path is the middle path. So please go on this path with steadfast determination, unswerving zeal, but not trying to stretch yourself beyond a point. That is very, very important, you know, very important.
Thank you, sir. Sir, next question from Shri Krishna. He says, that does the government give leave to attend Vipassana, like government is giving leave for art of living?
Some governments are giving. I think Bombay government used to give, Delhi government also used to give. It doesn't matter, it is my life. I have every right to take 10 days. Better not to take alms by way of leave, by way of leave by the government. Spend your own time. Take your time off. When I went there was no leave there and all that. You know, I used to tell my minister, used to tell me, Khanna, why you want to go? It will be difficult for me. Sir, don't worry, it will run much better without me and all that. But I have to go. I did 10 camps on those 7 years, which was a difficult job to handle in those times because we were a monopoly. And everybody wanted a telephone, you know. But I did 10 camps in those days at Jaipur, you know. That is why today I'm still alive and talking to you. And one thing which I learned for my young friends who may be listening, verb with verb, vigor, vitality and joy. Verb, vigor, vitality and joy. खूब उत्साह से, खूब उमंग से, खूब प्रफुल्लित चित्त से. Do your duty and don't worry about the results, as Gita says. They are not in your hands. If you start worrying, then you cannot think of the way ahead. If I lost my job today because of COVID, fine, I'll get a better job. And people have got better jobs. But if you start worrying, oh, I've lost my job, what will I do and all that, then it becomes very difficult and all that, you know. You will lose your equanimity and you will not be able to work hard to find another job.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Mr. Sunil Talwar. What are landmarks during Vipassana meditation to ensure that you are in right direction?
If you are looking for landmarks, then don't go into Vipassana. Why are you looking for landmarks? You are always trying to look for achievement. I said that there is nothing to achieve, nowhere to go, no landmark. Just meditate, let it come by itself. All the results which I mentioned about on my body, they came by themselves. These are, then you will know by yourself through your practice. But if you are looking at, I will get this landmark, that landmark, no, sorry, no landmarks.
Thank you, sir.
I hope
Next
I
question
am.
is from Mr. G.S. Bhatnagar. Question is, what way it has specific advantage than Sudarshan Kriya?
Go on doing your Kriya. Go on doing whatever you want. Please combine Sudarshan Kriya have its advantages. Please go ahead and try this only way to uproot afflictions in the mind, which you have inherited because of your karmic cycle. Afflictions, as I said, deep-rooted affliction of an independent self. No Sudarshan Kriya can take away that deep root in where again you will, you will get your sense of self heightened and all that. It's no way. But these kind of, both are, different methods can take you to the highest Brahma world, mind you. You are not a merit. You get a lot of supernatural powers, but there is no escape from suffering. Once the merit is over, you will again come back to normal lower domains and all that. Please don't leave your Sudarshan Kriya.
Thank you very much, sir, for answering all the queries which we have received till now. Now, I think all of us have listened a very inspiring talk, Mr. B.M. Khanna, which says that we come to this world with a body, mind, and several things inside the mind, inside the body. We do suffering when we pass through the life, and Vipassana teach that the answer to all your sufferings are inside you. If you practice it properly, your sufferings can reduce. But this
Vinay,
particular talk,
Anil, 1 minute, I do want to Vinay Loke Vijja Domanastan. Vinay Loke Vijja. 3.5 हाथ की काया में both mental and physical pain you have to get rid of. Not from the books, not from teaching by your guru.
yes.
You can't go to say that Christ will come and save me. There's nobody to save you except your own karmic cycle. And the only way to purify your consciousness, let me again say, he says, Kayane ayum bhikkhave maggo, satta nam visuddhiya, purification of beings. Shok pari deva nam samati kamay, overcoming sorrow and lamentation. It always happens when the near and dear ones, somebody passes away. Dukh domanasya natham gamay. Dukh domanasya means both mental and physical pain. He says, Jnanas adhigamay, samanasya sati karyay, jaradam chataro sati padhana. This fourfold mindness which I have said, Kaya Anupassana, then I have said Vedana Anupassana, then Chitta Anupassana, then Dhamma Anupassana. These 4 places for mindfulness, one to change your belief from beauty to ugliness. See what is inside the body. Nothing but pieces of flesh and all that, which only, if you are thrown, only your, eagles and other things, they will devour wolves, Then the second one, Vedana Anupassana. What is painful, you are taking as pleasurable. I have my drinks and all that, enjoy life, and all is so beautiful, everything is so beautiful. But understand the underlying pain behind it and all that. That's the second one is, this is the Vedana Anupassana, which will also help you. The third one, Chitta Anupassana. Chitta Anupassana is, whatever you think is permanent, change your attitude to impermanence. And the fourth one, Dhamma Anupassana, is most important. That uproot your belief in independent, intrinsic self. No permanent soul. If the permanent soul is there, then I'll permanently suffer. Then there will be always birth and death. Even Lord Brahma, when the poor fellow's merit is over and he comes back, he again starts suffering. They say that in the, Tushita heaven, where Lord Indra and all that, they are enjoying life. When the flowers in their neck, they start, withering. They are also worried and they are suffering. Then our merit is over and we have to go back to the lower domains. Please read Mahasatipatthana Sutta 10 times, 20 times. But after you have after you have meditated for some time, not immediately, it won't make any sense to you.
Sir, we are coming to the close of this. I hope that this particular webinar will help most of us to adopt Vipassana and to liberate ourselves from a lot of suffering which we are doing. Now we are coming, and I just want to inform you that police officers joined talk. We had Mr. Kuldeep Goyal, who was the BSNL, Mr. R.K. Upadhyay, who was CMD BSNL and CMD TCIL, Mr. N.K. Mangla, who was Director Commercial and Marketing, and Mr. R.K. Agarwal, who was Director Consumer Mobility with us. So lastly, sir, may I request Mr. Kuldeep Goyal, in case he is still there, to propose a vote of thanks. Mr. Kuldeep Goyal, are you there, sir? Then may I request Mr. N.K. Mangla, I am able to see that he is still there. Sir, may I request you to kindly propose a vote of thanks to this wonderful talk.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are listening to you, sir.
We are very grateful to Mr. Khanna. As a matter of fact, Mr. Khanna, I have met you about 20 years back, and because of my anger and anxieties, he used to advise me always, Mangla, why don't you go to Vipassana? And he was insisting, as a matter of fact, in taking me to Jaipur. He said, I will come to you, come there. You have to learn Vipassana, and he has been benefited a lot. He used to advise me even at that time. So today only I have got the opportunity and blessings of having a Vipassana session with him. We are really grateful to him and wish him best of health and opportunity. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. And hope to get some more lectures on Vipassana in future, sir.
I am thankful to Mr. N.K. Mangla for proposing the vote of thanks, and we are all thankful to all participants, which were around 125 who joined us and taken the blessings of Lord Buddha and blessings of Mr. B.M. Khanna.
My good wishes, my gratitude.
As I assured you before the webinar, that recording of this webinar will be shared with everybody who have attended and also with those who have not attended but they have registered. So thank you very much, sir. Sir, anything Mr. B.M. Khanna you want to say, sir, before we close?
I express my deepest gratitude to all of you, those who have attended, those who have registered, and especially to you, Anil. But for you, this program would not have been possible. I just have no words to express my gratitude, to be honest. Most grateful thanks to the participants.
So nice of you, sir. It is your wish and your Ashirwad, which we keep on getting for the last 30-40 years, sir. I remember when I saw you for the first time and got motivation from you. Every time whenever we meet, sir, we get motivation. This is a very great gift you have given to all of us. We hope with your talk, a lot of us will get benefited. And let me tell you, sir, it is not 125 people who have registered. I think it is 125 families who got benefited out of this. Thank you very much, sir, for such a wonderful talk. And as per your advice, in case you feel in future such talks are required to be repeated, we can arrange the webinar like this for you, sir. Sir, just 1 minute. We got a message from Mr. R.K. Upadhyay, CMD, ex-CMD, BSNL, ex-CMD, TCIL. Thanks a lot, Khanna Saab, for excellent and very useful talk. Similarly, we got a message from Mr. Nilanjan Singh. Thanks a lot, sir. Warm regard. So we are getting a lot of queries and messages. Thank you very much, sir.
I want to end with one prayer which I said in the beginning.
Yes, sir.
There are distractions galore and we are merrily entangled. O Lord, you came, you conquered, you have shown the way. Please bestow your blessings upon us so that we can tread the path so beautifully enunciated by you with unswerving zeal, unflinching determination to go across the ocean of suffering for the benefit of all beings and attain to Buddhahood, attain to ultimate Buddhahood for the benefit of all the sentient beings in the 10 directions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, once and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anil.
Thank you. Thank you,
I am
sir.
deeply indebted to you.
Thank you, sir.